Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic, two different Malaysian male predator teachers in two different provinces or towns, what do you want to call it, in sectionality of Malaysia, that sit there and basically were sexual assaulters of various youth boys, male students, and combinationally, right? Because one sexual predator male teacher did this to one innocent boy male student, and the other sexual predator pedophile male teacher did this horrendousness of sexual assaultedness to various boy male students. But at the same time, again, just like in however other places, when you have sexual assaulter pedophileness that do these things to boy male students, you have personnel that do just like this in many instances.
Nothing. I know nothing. I know nothing.
Yes, yes, yes. Very much numbers of people do this. See, the thing about it, when you hear things about human trafficking, right? And they blur up some picture of some female, right? To get the juices flowing in people's mentality, right? But notice that they make sure not to talk about the still gigantic numbers of young and adult males that are human trafficked every day. And there is not just sexual trafficking. You also have labor trafficking, by the way, which predominantly human trafficking by labor versions, right, illegally, right, is against males, right? They're the males are the largest labor trafficking personnel on the planet. But see, they don't want to talk about that, right? Because again, there are certain people in a gigantic system that has a lot of type of resources, a lot of type of money, a lot of socialness, a lot of entities to sit there and make sure you don't talk about that, but keep your mentalities looking at, oh my goodness, what are you going to do about protecting girls? What are you going to do about protecting women, right? Let me tell you something. There are some males who know what I'm talking about, and there are some decent females who know what I'm talking about. They'll be like, that is just pure wrong, right? To sit there and just reduce down numbers of male students, boy students, right? Adult males that are sexual assaultness victims, right? Now, in today's topic, this is how these two particular sexual predators, teachers, are in Malaysia, right? Because again, on this Real CP show, I do talk about various topics, right? Sometimes one topic may be a little more in that direction, another topic may be a different direction, maybe another topic might be not as much, but I still talk about various topics, right? And the thing about it for me, I look at that in I look at the victims that from sexual assault to pedophiles doing this to male victims, I definitely look at that in a very offensiveness, right? Because I get tired of only seeing people only talk about girls and only talk about women that are victims, which is definitely a needed conversation. However, I find it extremely offensive that to minimize when boys and when males adults are victims, right? So let me go ahead and share my screen on this situation, on this part. This is a double feature because, again, a lot of people ain't talking about victims when victims are male students, when sexual assault victims are grown adults. A lot of people ain't talking about that because a lot of people like minimizing that. And I do blame certain types of males. I do blame certain numbers within certain parts of certain entities, certain type of politicalness, etc. Right? because they know it's not enough males to sit there and call this hypocrisy out. All right. So as you see on this first one, on this situation, as you can see this particular teacher was jailed 10 years, 6 whipping for physical sexual assault on students. 6 whipping. What are you talking about? All right, let's see what I'm talking about. See, this is the sexual pedophile pervert teacher in some province out of Malaysia, right? Now, whatever this particular part of is on that, I just know it's in Malaysia, right? A teacher out of Malaysia, this particular area or district, has been sentenced to 10 years in prison and 6 strokes of the cane for committing physical sexual assault on a 15-year-old male student. This particular judge, such and such, meted out the sentence on Anwar something Yusuf, 48, after finding him guilty of the offense. Anwar was charged with 3 counts of committing the offense and was sentenced to 10 years in prison with 2 strokes of the cane on each count to be served concurrently from today. The court also ordered the accused to undergo counseling during his imprisonment and to be placed under enforcement supervision for 2 years after completing his prison sentence, said the judge. Whatever this person is, the judge said, when reading out the judgment, said that after examining the evidence and arguments presented by the defense and prosecution, the court found that the defense had failed to raise any reasonable doubt in the case and that the defense made was a mere denial. Take into account the accused as a teacher, right, who should protect the victim and not take advantage of the victim to indulge his lust, especially when the victim is of the same sex. Let me repeat that again. Taking into account the accused as a male teacher and should protect the victim, who should protect the victim and not take advantage of the male victim to judge his lust, especially when the victim is of the same sex. Astronomical truth. However, the accused betrayed the trust given to him by committing sexual acts on the victim, the male victim, the youth male boy victim. And such acts have left the victim, the youth boy male victim, traumatized, he said. Anwar was charged with 3 counts of committing physical sexual assault on the 15-year-old boy in a room at a resort on whatever this particular area at 3 p.m. on July 29, 2022, and 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. on July 30, 2022. So multiple times this little disgusting cretin of a sexual pedophile that was supposed to be of the authority of a teacher, right? Disgusting. Did that to that young, innocent boy, male student. The charge was brought under Section 14A of the Sexual Offense Against Children Act 2017, which provides a maximum prison sentence of 20 years and caning if convicted. Oh, see, they ain't playing. Salute to them. Extra salute to them, right? For not playing this minimizing of boy genderness that are sexual assaulted, right? They weren't playing that. Extra salute to them, right? On that part. And they said, he was going to get caned or did get caned. See, they ain't playing that. See, within various sections of the U.S., see, again, even though they're predominant victims who have been victims by sexual predator, certain numbers of teachers in the U.S., and many of the assailants have been numbers of women teachers. Oh, it's been quite a number of disturbing, deranged type of bad women teachers who have been sexual predators, right, of youth male students. And some have sit there and had justice put upon them, but how many haven't or got the proverbial slap on the wrist? But at the same time, if that would have been a male teacher and he did those things to female teachers, it is also blared out nationally. However, about pro-women, pro-girls organizations, however, certain sections of politicalness, oh, we got to do more to protect our girls and women, protect our girls and women students, or girl students, should we say, or on college campuses. We got to protect our women students, as if there is no males on college campuses that have not been victims of sexual assault, right? But you see how this goes, right? And again, I do blame certain numbers of maleness. I do blame certain types of politicalness. I do blame certain type of organizationness, et cetera, for sitting there either minimizing or sitting there not talking about this epidemicness, right, of scenarios that's going on toward boys and adult males. Okay, that was all for that one. So as you see on this one, look at this deviant sexual predator, right? He just happened to be out of Malaysia or whatever part of Malaysia, right, on this situation. Now, the thing about it is there definitely needs to be more conversation about this, right? But again, you have some personnel, they act like they don't see nothing, right? And I'm like this. Oh, we're just going to pretend we don't sit there and see many victims of sexual assaultedness, sexual harassment, boy victims, right? And stuff like that by these pedophile assailants, right? We're going to pretend, right? That's not happening as much, right? See, there's no minimizing if you're talking about young girls being victims by male teacher, right? Oh, there is no minimizing because you better not do that, right? But when it's a boy youth male student, it's primarily minimized. When it is a grown adult males that are victims of sexual assaultedness, harassment, and don't even let it be the most horribleness, even extraness of being raped, R-A-P-E-D. Do you know how disgusting and minimization that happens every day? These type of personnel that rape youth males, that rape adult males, they are lucky in the sense that there is not a certain sexual maleness that, oh, you do that to young male, your genitals are cut off. Oh, you do that to a adult male and it wasn't consensual, your gonads is cut off and you might get the death penalty. See, they lucky there's not enough males like that. That's it. You better go find something else to do, right? You rape a male student, you rape a grown male. Oh, no. Your life is going to probably be ended. Or no matter what, minimum, that person's gonads is going to be cut off. Not playing that. So anyway, on that, the last thing I want to show is this one article. Also from whatever this particular province or town or whatever it is in Malaysia. This particular Malaysian male teacher charged with sexual assaulting 9 male students. My goodness. Woo-wee. Look at that. Deviant sexual predator of male students. Muhammad was charged, and this particular person, in Sessions Court with 11 charges of committing physical, sexual assault, sodomy, and having sexual intercourse against the order of nature against non-male students aged between 8 and 12 years old from April 2024 to July of last year in this particular area. This particular area, province, wherever it is in Malaysia, this particular deviant pedophile sexual assault to male teacher out of Malaysia was charged in the Sessions Court here today at that time, because the day is January 12, 2026, with 11 counts of physical sexual assault, sodomy, and having sexual intercourse against the order of nature against non-male students from April 24th to last July. The accuser, Muhammad Salam, 52, who is still single, pleaded not guilty after all the charges were read out by an interpreter before the judge. According to the 7 charges, the accused is charged with committing physical sexual assault with sexual intent against 7 boys aged between 8 and 12 years old. The offense was committed in a house in this particular area, some terrain near Bachak. I may be pronouncing incorrectly. I'm sorry. In the cooperative room, that's oxymoronic, sports management room, and computer laboratory room of a school here from April 2024 to July the 1st. For the charge, the accused was charged under Section 14A of the Sexual Offense Against Children Act of 2017 and is punishable under Section 14 of the same act, read together with Section 16(1) of the act, which carries a prison sentence up to 20 years and whipping if convicted. And 2 other charges, this particular Muhammad Guy Salam is charged with committing physical sexual assault by sodomizing 2 boys aged 9 and 11 at a school cooperative shop here at about 9:45 a.m. in mid-2024 and 4:30 p.m. in July 2024. Both charges were under this particular section, again, of Sexual Offense Against Children's Act and stuff like that. The man, this pedophile, sexual deviant pedophile assailant, male teacher, was also charged with 2 counts of having sexual intercourse against the order of nature with an 11-year-old boy and 4 months old in the sports management room of a school here at about 5 p.m. in February and May. For both charges, he was charged under Section 3778 of the Penal Code, and it's punishable under you see this particular section, under the Sexual Offenses Against Children Act, which carries a prison sentence up to 20 years and whipping if convicted. The prosecution was conducted by whatever person, while the accused were represented by whatever person. Previously, however this person did not recommend bail because the 11 charges involved 9 victims ages 8 to 12. Wait a minute. Give me a second here. Okay, whatever on that. However, this person requested reasonable bail with strict conditions so that the accused can return to duty as a civil servant without any restriction. You see the most crazy stat. After he done sexual assaulted many young male boy students, and his foolishness, requested that reasonable bail with strict conditions so that the accused can return to duty as civil servant without any restriction. Do you think this fool would have said that if it would have been a male teacher and he did that to the same number of girl students? I don't think so. He would have been fired, and then he'd have been ostracized, right, for that. My client, still single, has served as a teacher for 17 years. The accused has also been transferred to a department in whatever his province or town, whatever it is, a village, after serving 14-day remand period that last July. The court allowed the accused bail of this, the Malaysian ringgits or something like that, their money, 55,000. I think it's around about 13,000. I think I saw at this particular time, with one surety for all charges and additional conditions, namely surrendering his passport to the court, prohibiting him from harassing the victim or victims, or prosecution witnesses, and having to report to a nearest enforcement station once a month on that. So that was it on that. So the thing about it is, this is horrendous. How you have these male students that were sexually assaulted, harassed, etc. And you really would say they were raped, robbed, or APED, right? On that. But again, when the victims are males, be it male students, youth male students are a grown adult male personnel that are sexually assaulted, sexually harassed, and are rocked, or EPED, is minimized because the system, it's a brilliant system that wants the minimization of this, right? But you better not minimize when the victims are girls or women. You see the hypocrisy that goes on, happens on a daily basis. So I just want to do a double combination of these sexual assaulter, pedophile cretins and what they did to these young male boy students. Because again, there needs to be more males that call out these cretins that are being pedophiles to these young males students. And there needs to be major there needs to be a major uproar that people are not talking about enough. What are people going to do more for male youth students that are victims of these heinous sexual assaulter, pedophile type of cretins, of adults that do these things to these young males? And certainly, and last, what are we going to do more to sit there and make sure that the minimization of adult males that are victims of assault, that are victims of sexual harassment, that are victims of being rocked, RAPED, either if the assailant was a woman or the male, there needs to be an uproar about calling this out and to stop allowing people to minimize this. I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP show.